If you enjoy watching Common Ground online, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution at lptv.org. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Rachel Johnson, and thanks for joining us as we chronicle the history, traditions, and people who have planted their roots in northern Minnesota. In this week's episode of Common Ground, veteran Wendell Affield recalls his Vietnam experiences on the Mekong River Delta in his memoir, Muddy Jungle Rivers. Bemidji State University art professor Natalia Himmirska proudly prepares an exhibition of her students' masterpieces. And we get back to the basics in Northome for the acclaimed Koochiching County Fair.
I'm Don Lukenbill, and I want to welcome everybody to the Koochiching County Fair.
This fair here originated in the early 1900s, and it's been on the same grounds since that time. And I believe it's one of the oldest fairs still existing on the same grounds in Minnesota and longest running fairs.
Our fair has been nonstop for 107 years, and we're kind of proud of that because it's a small venue, but we've been able to keep it alive, and that's not an easy thing in a small community the size of ours. You're going to experience something very different from what you've normally seen at county fairs, and I think to that point, this spring, in March, the Minneapolis Tribune did a special feature called The Best of Minnesota, and they had a reporter, photographer come to our fair to visit, and she left here very impressed, evidently, because out of 95 fairs in the state of Minnesota, we were picked as the best for 2012. So it was a surprise, but not totally. We knew we were offering something very different and very unique, and that's where we got the points.
Mainly we've gotten away from the carnival, and it's a good family experience. We don't have a lot of the commercial stuff, but it's more of a down-home atmosphere here, I would guess. Somewhere you'd feel comfortable bringing your grandkids and teach them a little on the history of the Northome area.
I am Jan Maggart. I live in Mizpah, Minnesota. I'm a collector of tractors, old farm equipment, and machinery. You know, these young people are amazed when they see these things and what they do and why they did it and how they did it. You'd be surprised how often young people will question and say, why this and why that? Can I ride on it? I've had people come up right there in the parade and say, can I ride on there? Climb on. That's the first thing I'd like to see them do, get involved and enjoy it. What I have here is what's called a hay press. Today's term would be a hay baler. Presses at the time were hand feed. This particular press was designed and manufactured in 1883. This machine, the tractor runs it and it stomps it down and presses it. Very similar design that the new ones are today in a small square baler. It's a wire tie. The wires are sitting on the machine. Blocks of wood get dropped in. A bell rings, tells it when it's time to drop it in. And your blocks then have grooves, and a man stands, or a person, on either side and feeds the wires through the blocks, back through the other side. This guy ties it, twists the wire up, and it goes on out. This is a stationary unit. This unit was set beside a straw stack or a hay stack, and you sliced off slices and forked it in with a three-prong, what they called a hay fork. The big tractor standing behind is an Altman and Taylor. That tractor weighs 26,000 pounds. It's called a 3060, and most tractors in the day these were made were rated by their horsepower, belt horsepower versus drawbar. Gearing was very poor in those days. That tractor has 60 horsepower on the belt and 30 horsepower on the drawbar. It pulled a 10-bottom plow, so you figure the horsepower. She runs 500 RPM. The radiator holds 120 gallons of water, This tractor's a 1918. It has a chain steer like a steam engine is. It starts and runs well. It burns water as long as kerosene. It has 2 clutches. Actually has a clutch for the drive side. It has a clutch for the belt side. Was a real high quality machine. Well, there ain't many fairs that can see farm equipment of this age. People that see this and see what happens and how these people actually had to bale this hay or press it and move it and do the things, how they had to start the tractors, how they had to run them, what they had to go through, the oiling process, the greasing. I mean, it was a daily thing. I think the history of that is part of our American heritage. It's part of it. We went through that. Our grandparents and they went through it, from the horses to these machines, and they thought when they got this tractor, this was like heaven to them.
I think it's a laid-back country atmosphere that we offer here. People that come here, they're so impressed with the fact that they can just let their little kids go. And you don't see that at a lot of fairs anymore, especially the bigger fairs. The little kids have a ball here. Like I said before, we had to do away with the carnival, but we've replaced it with the balloon rides, which the little ones love. We have various displays. We do the garden display, the traditional, and we try and mix that up a little bit too. We do different things there than a lot of fairs do. We have our veggie creature, our art, and our jughead contest, which is new this year. So we do a lot of different things, and that's where I feel we have a little bit of an edge.
In the past, we've had several different contests, and this year we're having a jughead contest. Now, we're always looking for teenagers to do something besides their little phones and iPods and stuff. And this year we have teenage entries, and I think that's just super, super. We've got 15 entries. This jughead doesn't really look like a jughead, but underneath all the fluff and all the feathers, there is a half-gallon milk jug. So it really does belong in here. And who could not like this one? Sir Fishington. So we're honored to have a Sir among us. And look at Granny. Oops, she's losing her head. There we go. That, and she's made out of genuine milk. She's a milk drinker. We let everyone come and vote, and the one that gets the most votes is the winner. So I think it helps bring the community together.
Hi, I'm Clyde Lowe, and I brought in my pedal tractor collection that I've collected on for about the last 20 years. This is the best of them we brought in today to display here and give the crowd something to look at, something new, something different. And it's we've kind of got a variety of pretty much every brand of pedal that was ever made. They're pretty unique though. These guys that build these, they're kind of geniuses they're very good at what they do. And a lot of people don't even know these exist up here in Northome. So
one thing that I think can't be overlooked is what it takes to put something like this together, because we don't have a big budget. We operate probably on one of the smallest budgets of any of the fairs, but we make up for it in community interest, and they just go to work for us. They go to work for us. It's wonderful.
I think it's an all-around good community effort, and I think our fair people that have set up this fair have done a good job. They've done a nice job.
We work real hard to make sure that when people come to our grounds, they're going to experience something they're not going to experience anywhere else. And we've done a good job in that respect. So we're looking for success in the future, and I think we're going to see it.
My name is Natalia Himmirska, and I'm an artist, and I'm teaching art painting in the BSU. And today we're hanging the show Flora and Fauna, which is going to be at Bemidji Community Art Center. Every time when we hang the exhibition, that's what happened. The exhibition goes down, then the empty walls, like you're blind or something, and then you put these works. It's totally different, the mood and everything. It's a magic. It's a magic thing. The goal is to make exhibition exciting and attractive, and also to have a kind of a story. I will start with Eli Bilbach, and he is my student. He's at BSU last year. He's going to have a wonderful exhibition. Let's hope, wonderful exhibition. Yes, in the fall. And here he can speak for himself, Eli.
Yeah, senior at BSU. I've got a couple of pieces here. Working with this lady here a lot and painting a lot. It's just been wonderful.
This is Gary Carhill, and he is my other very talented student. And he is a wonderful painter, and he is doing wonderful ceramics. Besides the idea of the painting, you do work with physicalities of materials, and you work with the colors which like or do not like each other. So each painting could be arranged so it will win or it will lose. When we're writing, we're only using a pen and ink and paper. When we speak, we only use tongue. When we do painting, we use all possible materials, all possible tools. We don't use even number of the letters like 24 or 32. We invent the signs for what we're saying, how to put the paint, what direction it goes. So it's very, very complex. People usually see only the image, but image is sometimes even pretext to start a painting. Painting is not only about image, it's about paint, application, your thinking, all of that. Very complex, high order of thinking of humans, I would say. And it's also very interesting to see how painting is evolving, you know, how it comes from the absolutely white canvas and suddenly it's emerging and suddenly it's there. It's like a birth. I absolutely know it is a birth.
It's from hanging other galleries and stuff. We've been learning kind of the structure of how to do things. Like there's the leveler you can use, otherwise you can use eye, and that's the technique has definitely been eye with setting up shows with Natalia.
Yeah, with Natalia, it's it's bring it up, stop, down, up, there, perfect.
One finger to the left, out. Yep, good, good. The time and labor which involved in every piece is kind of usually underestimated by many people, because when you come and it's there, it's like always been there. I even have a joke, look at the creator. He created the world for 6 days only, and here's just a pitiful painting. What to do it? You know, nothing to do. But people paint a lot. They spend a lot of time painting, and hours and hours and hours and hours, and refining and redoing it, and making the stretchers, stretching the canvas. It will be really physical hard work. Pleasure, love, warmth, everything which any human would like to have. And those works, they're reflecting the feelings of people who did them. They're all done with love. Love is prerequisite for any art. And it's amazing how I see that the eyes get sparkly when they look at the work which they like. Like people smile, they enjoy themselves. Art is also ambassador. It brings people together, whether it's a reception or whether it's just getting together to exhibition. The works on the wall or on pedestal, they become to be part of this human group which visit the exhibition. Invisible, maybe silent, but the presence of that person who did the work is there.
Hi, I'm Wendell Affield. I wrote a Vietnam War memoir, Muddy Jungle Rivers. It's about the time that I spent on a riverboat in the Mekong Delta in 1968, which historians call the bloodiest year of the war. I retired from Lucan's Village Foods in 2001. I knew I had stories to tell, and I began taking writing classes at Bemidji State University. I served 2 tours in Vietnam, and my second tour I was on a river patrol boat, mainly down in the Mekong Delta. And I had an experience down there that I thought was unique, and I knew that when I was gone, it would be gone. And when I started BSU, I began with the writing classes and as just memory essays. As this collection of essays grew and my years of writing experience grew, students and some of the professors suggested I put it into a book. I started doing research. One of the grad students at BSU edited the complete set of essays, and they suggested I collect them, I put them chronologically. And that was a huge step forward for me, because when I pulled up those reports, I was able to put exactly into a timeline of when Martin Luther King got killed and how our crew reacted. Those memories, that imagery was very sharp in my mind yet. And then about a month later, as I recall, Robert Kennedy was assassinated, and again the conflict blew up on our boat a little bit. The last few years that I was taking classes, I found a direction where I realized that I could put a narrative together in chronological order of my experiences in Vietnam. It really tightened the story up, and it made me realize, as other people read it, that this could be a significant little piece of history. And so it grew into Muddy Jungle Rivers. I was a member of the Mobile Riverine Force, and what it was a partnership of the Army and Navy that was formed in 1966, I believe it was, and it was in response to the Viet Cong overrunning the Mekong Delta in South Vietnam. The delta, if you look on a geographical survey map, is only about 2 feet above sea level. There's very few roads, and over the thousands of years, canals and the rivers, the existing rivers and tributaries, have become the main mode of transportation. And so really the best way of putting troops in and covering these areas we need to operate on was we need to find a way of going on the rivers, and that's what was put together. There were many, many kinds of different types of river boats. The one that caught the public's fancy was a PBR, a patrol boat fast. It was a little jet-propelled boat. It was made out of fiberglass. You see it in the movie Apocalypse Now, for example. The boat I was on, it was an LCM-6. If you see the movies like Saving Private Ryan or whatever, the landing craft hitting the beaches that drop the ramp, that's the type of boat that I was on. The only really recognizable feature left on it is the ramp, because the Navy wrapped it in 1-inch steel armor plating, and then offset we had what was called bar armor. It was just re-rod welded about 2 inches apart, and that was designed to detonate rockets before they struck the boat, because rockets were a big threat in Vietnam. They were mostly Russian made, Chinese made. And on our boat we had a 7-man crew. Buddha Ed Thomas was the captain. He was an old school career Navy man. He believed his authority was absolute. In today's world, he'd be a Class A bully. Buddha had his positive attributes. He was the great jokester. He loved to read. He was very articulate, actually. I got an email after the book came out from Albert Moore. He's the president of our Mobile Riverine Association. And I was hesitant. I was really, really concerned about how other riverboat sailors would take the way I described Buddha. But Albert Moore knew Buddha quite well. He knew him for 20 years after we were in Vietnam, and the first sentence of his message to me was, "You have Buddha down pat." And that's posted on my website, actually. Some of the response I've gotten since the book has been published is just amazing. I had a fellow that emailed me, and I've been in contact with him several times since. He lives down in Tennessee, and he was on the boat the day we got in a bad ambush. And on that day, a bunker built into the bank opened up on us, right just parallel with where I was. And I swung the boat and I rammed the bunker. And I thought, I would have decommissioned it. Well, things happen so fast, and your worldview is limited to the little 1-inch slit in my armor plating, that I never really knew what was going on beyond what I could see directly. Well, in this email over 45 years later, I find out that he climbed up on the bow ramp, which was still up, and he was firing down into that bunker and tossing grenades into it because the Viet Cong were trying to throw grenades on our boat. When a rocket explodes, and it's a sensation that I will always recall, is the first instant when I got wounded, and I'm sure anyone will tell you this, that there's numbness and burning, just a burning sensation. And I wasn't terribly maimed. I had hundreds of little speckles of shrapnel hit me and a few bigger pieces, but the tiny speckles, just like pepper, just burned. That was the first sensation I had. So it's things like that that just fascinate me. I reconnected with Ed Thomas, our boat captain, in the early 1990s. He had retired from the Navy as a master diver, and he was living in a little cabin in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And we started visiting several times a year, and it was sad. He really turned to drinking even worse when he got out. And one time I recommended that he go to a VA hospital and visit with someone about post-traumatic stress disorder, and he really brushed it off and said he didn't have it, and anyone that had it was whatever, I can't say it here, but he died in his cabin in 1999, I believe, and a few months later his sister contacted me, and she gave me albums he had, and she sent me the flag from our old boat, and here it is. And it says, boat crew, Ed Thomas, BM2, division boat captain, and he has me listed Wendell Affield, BM2 Coxswain, but he has written on here ATC 11211. That was our boat number, and August 18th, 1968, that's the day we got in the bad ambush. But that's the one tangible thing I really have off our boat, and I'm really thankful that Buddha's sister sent it to me. It's not folded properly, but it's kind of sad because you wonder where is it going to end up 50 years from now when nobody recognizes the symbolism of it, as being the flag from our boat. When I got discharged, I tucked my Vietnam experience away, and I just didn't talk about it and didn't visit with anyone about it. Most people didn't even know I was in the military.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Common Ground. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
If you have a segment idea for Common Ground pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org or call us at 218-333-3022. To view this episode or any Common Ground segment, visit us at lptv.org. To order individual segments or entire episodes of Common Ground, please call 218-333-3020. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people on November 4th, 2008. If you enjoyed this episode of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org.